All right, so I was thinking, I've been thinking, I'm Tanis here to Seattle. It's Wednesday, 19 August, 2026, and I came up with an analogy, and then I was like, what have I got in the home medical guides for it, and then what have I got for like specifics? So this is an understanding attempt and an increasing understanding attempt probing a home medical guides. This is the Merck Manual of Medical Information, Home Edition. I'm Tanis here to Seattle. Today is Wednesday, 19 August 2026, and I was thinking of on Monday, I took my car. It's a 2010 Toyota Corolla LE. I've been the owner of it for over 10.00 years. I did get it used. I took it in for an oil change / maintenance at Swickard Toyota on Monday. This past Monday, so it was 17 August 2026 AD. And I was like, can I come up with, they did oil change and a little bit of maintenance. What if I had to describe it, like, what would I, in this medical guide, classify it as? And I'm like, an oil change is kind of like, there's fluids in the car that are necessary for it to operate. And I was like, I'll be like blood. So I do cardiology, self-experimentation. Cardiology is study, at least for me, of the human heart, the organ, and the corresponding blood system. So this manual has a few pages, so 1375, 1376 blood tests. And then on page 1374, it specifies two different types of tests, or kind of like categories of medical tests. So I'm going to start with that, and then we kind of like make an analogy. The probing here is, can I come up with something? And I've been thinking about it. I've been working on it. Okay. So common medical tests. So first, you go, what is a blood test for? So they have two broad categories for this appendix of the book. So there's screening tests. So, quote, screening tests are used to try to detect a disease where there is little or no evidence that a person has the disease, end quote. So like for a blood test, there's no symptoms, but they may have something. So then check the blood for something, for the corresponding blood measurement pairs. And then the other one is diagnostic tests. So, quote, diagnostic tests, on the other hand, are used when a disease is suspected, end quote. So like, they may or may not know, kind of thing. So, like, let's say, so for a screening test, think of it as the person has a disease and they need to detect it. I'm like, okay, where is it at? And whereas this one is like, is it there? Is it possible? That kind of thing. So for my describing what that means, there we go. So they have a bunch of different blood tests, and I was like, okay. So I made, oil in a car is like blood in my body. What would an oil change be then? I was like thinking back to, how about I pull from my own doctor experience for that, and like choose a big two from what happened to my car on Monday. And so I was like, so they have a number of different ones. And so I came up for an oil change, white blood cell count. So it's like if there's a virus or something. I have had formal training and instruction training in point counting and mineralogy. So counting different minerals in rocks. And that required, and so I've done that for work / research, and then schooling as well. And so white blood cell count can be used to detect, how many blood cells are there, white blood cells, and could a person have a virus and that kind of thing. And I'm like, I can add oil to my car, kind of like I can point count in mineralogy. I cannot count my white blood cells, kind of like my Kurt, and I would need formal training in that to be able to do that. Kind of like I cannot change the oil in my car. I would need formal training to be able to do that. So while I have a basic skill set in terms of like counting something in something, so white blood cells count in the blood. I have minerals in a rock. I don't have I can add oil to a car. I don't have the changing of the oil count, and I don't have the counting of the white blood cells as my skill set. Okay. Then what else did they do to the car? They did, let's see, they checked the tire pressure and make sure the tires were okay. I was like, well, that one, pressure. I do blood pressure. So there's one. can think of it. They have a few different types of blood pressure here. What I do is just kind of like really just basic blood pressure. They have, again, different types of pressure here. They don't have the like generic blood pressure. Let's see. No. Yes, but they do have like oxygen pressure. I would put oxygen so there's oxygen in the tires as well, but I would kind of go with like blood pressure. Although blood pressure, even though it's not listed here, just generic blood pressure, because what? Yeah, I like it. So generic blood pressure, because when I go into the doctor's office, it's something that gets like measured, and then like, you know, I get to work on outside the office, making sure I keep the right blood pressure. And I could do it at home, kind of like, you know, they check the tire pressure, and then I get to, you know, drive the car, and so in that sense affect the tire pressure at home, so to speak, like as an outside of the garage, the mechanic shop. And but then I can also check and add air to the tires outside of the garage, and I have that in my background. And I can check and change my blood pressure, you know, kind of thing, at home, whether I have that in my background or not, depending on how am I measuring my blood pressure. And then let's see, there's also, they checked mat placement, and I was like, was the mat sticky? That could be like a blood glucose test, right? So they have blood glucose here. And so that's like how much sugar was like the stickiness of the blood, was the blood glucose, what's the blood sugar, that kind of thing. And then can I come up with, could I come up with one more? And I was like, they have, and thinking through it now as well, as going oxygen pressure, oxygen saturation. I might go with oxygen saturation. Would be like air filter in a car. Does the air filter need to be changed? How much oxygen is there? Right? You want the oxygen to be saturated. Considering the reference range is like 96 to 100%, you know, I want oxygen, I want air in my car, you know, to be like clean air. So I think oxygen saturation perhaps instead of oxygen pressure, but like oxygen. So there we go. That's my trying to broach two different things: car stuffs, vehicle racing and design, and car maintenance, and car taken care of, and blood.